Hello, Alan here with DustyHikers.com. I have another head-to-head one shoe versus the other video today. I'm leaving for Italy in like 5 weeks, and so my house is completely full of boxes, and so I may not be able to upload for a while. Anyway, we're gonna look at the Danner Trail 2650 Campo versus the Salomon Outline GTX version. And so let's get into it. So what I'm gonna do is just go through a series of questions that you might be considering if you're looking at getting either the Danner Trail 2650 Campo or the Salomon Outline GTX. These shoes are very similar, and so you might actually be wondering, okay, which one is actually gonna be best for me? I have spent quite a bit of time in both of these shoes on hiking trips and also just walking a lot in them over the last year. I did a comprehensive review of 5 different hiking shoes, including these 2, and neither of these were the shoe that I chose after testing 5 shoes comprehensively and doing all kinds of tests in my garage and also just walking in them. So if you want to find out which one I highly recommend, I'll link that video in the description, but you can also just find it on my channel. It's like best hiking shoe under $150, and then you can find out which one is better than both of these. And that shoe that I chose in that video, I'm still wearing right now, and they're amazing. They've completely held up. The soles are still really good, so you definitely want to go check that video out. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just ask a series of questions, and depending on how I answer, then you can decide which shoe might be best for you. Do you have wide feet? If you have wide feet, then perhaps neither of these shoes in their normal version will work for you. The Danner Trail 2650 Campo, I had to go from the normal to the wide version. The only problem with that was once I put the wide version on and cinched them up, it got all this, the toe gets all bunched up like that and looks bad. So these shoes really were just not made for my foot. They have a very interesting geometry here where on the outside it kind of digs in, and this was a kind of a pain point for my foot. In the wide version they do work, but I would say that if you have a normal foot, you're probably gonna have to go up to the wide. The Salomon Outline GTX had a very similar issue for me. This is also a wide version, and again, I normally do not have to wear wide, but it was kind of the same issue. You can see here on the outside of the shoe where it kind of like digs in like that. This impinged on my foot and just caused problems. So yeah, I would say if you have wide feet, you're definitely going to have to get the wide in either of these shoes. Okay, next question. How much money do you have? If money is an issue, you can get this shoe at rei.com, check out the link in the description, for $130 versus the Danner Trail 2650 Campo non-GTX version right now is going for almost $160. It's $159.95 or something like that on REI. I don't think they were that expensive a year ago when I purchased them, which is interesting. So maybe these shoes have become much more popular, and so they can demand more money. I'm not quite sure. But these were not $150. They were not even $150 when I bought them a year ago. So again, if money is a problem, then these shoes, the Danner Trail 2650 Campo, are $30 more than the Salomon Outline GTX. Okay, next question. Are you planning to hike in hot weather? If you are, you definitely want to go with the Danner Trail 2650 Campo. Campo, you may know, is the town in Southern California near the Mexico border where the Pacific Crest Trail begins. These are desert hikers. They were designed for hiking in hot weather. You can see here on the side, this leather portion has holes in it. And it's a very minimalist design. There's not a lot of material here, and they're very well ventilated. So if you're gonna be hiking in hot weather and you don't want your feet to sweat, I would definitely go with the Danner Trail 2650 Campo non-GTX version over this, which is the Outline, as I said before, Salomon Outline GTX. These are Gore-Tex, so your feet would get hotter than they would in the other pair. Okay, next question. How important is foot protection on the hike or hikes that you're planning on doing? If foot protection is important, then I would also go with the Danner Trail 2650 Campo. In this case, it has a pretty aggressive rock plate here in the bottom. It's actually hard plastic. I tested these shoes as well as the Salomon Outline GTX against 3 other shoes, and these performed pretty well for protection underfoot. you can't feel anything like small rocks, sharp rocks. You can't feel that on this portion of the shoe because of this rock plate. It does make it a little bit strange. So when you step down on something hard, you're going to kind of teeter on it. Whereas a more traditional like hiking boot that has a beefier rubber sole, it's going to just kind of like morph around that rock or the sharp object that you step on the trail. So if foot protection is important, these shoes, the Danner Trail 2650 Campo, will outperform the Salomon Outline GTX. They just have more protection. Okay, how important is comfort? Well, I always say comfort is in the foot of the wearer. In my experience, the Danner Trail 2650 Campo are more comfortable than the Salomon Outline GTX. They have a pretty decent insole in them, and the midsole is quite squishy and nice. And other than the fact that my foot has that problem here on the outside, and the wide version I don't have that issue, but these are relatively comfortable. They're not the most comfortable hiking shoes I've ever worn. In fact, again, when I did that review of five shoes last year, these were not the shoes that I chose. These were the ones that I wanted to bring on my hiking trip to Italy, but I actually went with the Merrell. Oh, I just told you what it was. Anyway, it's a Merrell shoe. But you have to go check out that video to find out which one it is. Again, I'm still wearing those shoes right now, and they're awesome. Okay, last question, and this is very subjective. Do you want to look good on the trail? I think that the Danner Trail 2650 Campo look way better than well, not way better, that's not fair. I just think they look cooler than the Salomon Outline GTX. These aren't bad on styling, but I do feel like these Danner Trail 2650 Campo, they just went to a whole other level with it, and they just put a lot of love and care into these shoes. They have lots of features. So this thing right here, if you can see that, is to attach your gaiter. And then on the back here, it's got like a portion of Velcro that you could use to attach, I guess, the gaiter on the back end as well. And they're just beautiful shoes. And for a lot of people, these are gonna work. And as long as your foot doesn't have the same issues that mine does, these are a much better shoe. They are $30 more expensive, but I think that they're probably gonna be more comfortable for most people.